Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Oh, look at that. We get to see the new dogs playing around. Hey, Merry Christmas to Roxy Cole, and thank you very much, Timothy Cecil. Merry Christmas to yourself. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hey, all right. This is my Blazers hat, but it looks kind of Christmassy. So. And my kid gave me this, so hey, I got it all. Yeah. That's like Benny's starting to come around, you know. When I walk over, he kind of comes up. He's not quite as shy as he was. So Benny, and then Clancy, the other one. Clancy's hard to give a bath to. Where Benny just sits there, he's okay. You wouldn't think the shy one would be as okay with that, but. So what's everybody doing tonight? Looks like they've got a Santa Claus in there. Look how lazy those guys are. And Chloe and Gracie are sitting elsewhere. They're not inside that cage. Arrgh. All right. Well, thanks, Timothy Cecil. Yep. But anyways, lately I've been watching. You know, I watched this Court TV appearance of this private investigator, and I was just like, oh man, you know, this person is cuckoo. You know, I know it sells tickets and everything, but my God. So anyway, and then somebody emailed me today with an article out of the Carroll County Comet. I think I used to subscribe there. I think I still have a subscription through the year or something like that. Oh, so that's pretty long. That goes on for like 16 minutes, this song. I think. Or maybe I have a bunch of them selected. I don't know. Yeah. What are the criminal charges? I haven't seen those. Wow, you're always born on New Year's Eve every year? Wow. That's crazy. Thank you, Alley Cake. Also, thank Carolina T sent me a card regarding Blue. Just got it today. So thank you, Carolina T, if you're out there somewhere, for that nice card. And thanks, Mods, for all the stuff that you do all the time. You know, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I do the mod? You know, like, let's say I wanted to buy mods something, right? But then there's these mods that aren't really ever here. You know? I guess maybe those are ones that shouldn't be mods, you know? And then I'd have a normal list, but I don't really have anybody's addresses or anything. I'm not really sure if Mary Lou's around to sing happy birthday to Lisa Holland. We will have to go try to find... It's going to ruin the beautiful Christmas music, though, when Mary Lou sings. Hey, thanks so much, Herbert Landscaping. And Merry Christmas to you, and Georgina Stoliker, and Allie Cake. Look at him right now, look at that. Oh, that's so cute. But hey, Mary Lou, you gotta sing happy birthday to Lisa Holland.
What? I was just enjoying the music, right?
Hey, but that's what you gotta do when it's somebody's birthday, alright? Especially like the regular freaks. Alright?
Alright, here we go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
Wait a minute, are you drunk?
Yeah, I've had a few eggnogs, if you know what I mean.
Oh God, Mary Lou is wasted too. And she's going to be singing happy birthday. This is crazy.
Let me go first. Happy birthday to Lisa Holland. Happy birthday to Lisa Holland. Happy birthday to Lisa Holland. Happy birthday to you.
Wow. I think Mary Lou's head just hit the ground. That was amazing. Not sure how that happened. Pretty crazy. Oh yeah? Merry Christmas, DM. Merry Christmas to everybody. Look how curious Clancy is. He kind of almost looks like one. It could almost be one of those apple head ones, right? The little. His nose is sort of in between, kind of, right? Yep. Did karaoke all night, open presents, and putting together my vanity with husband. Oh, sweet. Yeah, karaoke seems like it'd be kind of fun. We have a machine. You just get like the YouTube karaoke songs, and you put them on there, and it plays it on the screen. Hey, thanks so much, Regina Carter. Happy holidays to you too. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Not sure what that means. Never understand, like 90% of the... Hey, thanks so much, WNC Granny. I heard Mary Lou all the way over here in western North Carolina. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, it's an old song? Okay. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Okay. Yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna play this interview that was on Court TV. You know, Bob Motta's on there with this lady, last name Morse. It's actually Erica Morse. I mean, she's like unhinged, kind of, and that shows you where the entire defense team is. You know, the fact that like Bob Mott is out there defending this lunatic, you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. He's kind of selling his soul to be on a particular side. It's wild. Who the hell would do that? I tried to watch the Court TV thing, but those guests were out of their minds. Yeah. I mean, it's weird, you know? I don't know why they... It's like, when I'm on there, I try to bring in a moments of rationality. But it doesn't sell, you know? Like, I don't... What I do doesn't sell. Because I'm just saying what the reality is. Where people like to hear the crazy conspiracy possibilities that are out there. Thanks, Chicken Wing, and Merry Christmas. Yeah, so anyways, you guys want to... We'll switch over to that. Did they get taken out of the... They must have gotten taken out of there. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Joining me, criminal defense attorney, host of the Defense Diaries podcast, was in the courtroom for the trial, Bob Motta, and private investigator, worked...
Thank you, Karen.
Worked on the case for nearly 2 years, is close with
Worked on the case for nearly 2 years.
Richard Allen's family. Erica Morse is with...
Close with the family. Okay.
With us. Thank you both for being here. Erica, it's been a while since I've talked to you about this case. So let's talk about this case. Let's start first with Richard Allen. His wife, Kathy, wasn't there today, right?
No one from the Allen family attended. That was an ongoing discussion between Rick and his family for about the last 2 weeks, Vinny, as to whether or not they should go. And the decision was made that if Rick's advisement by the defense attorneys was to not participate in the pre-sentencing investigation report.
I mean, this lady just is so whiny and just kind of like, you know, Richard Allen, poor Richard Allen. You know what I want? Here's what I wish that I could listen to. I want to see, you know, these, you know, crackerjack attorneys, you know, Bob Motta and all the rest of them, to go out there and explain how he's not guilty. Like really sit down and give us all the stuff that shows that it's not him. Okay, not the little, like, it's not fair that you think that, you know, some information got in that shouldn't have. I want to know what you have that you guys get together in a round table and don't do any of your bullshit conversations about Odinists and all this kind of stuff. Explain to me, given the information that was presented at trial, how Richard Allen is not the guy. And then saying, well, if we could have presented the Odinist stuff, it would have... But what is in the Odinist stuff that proves that Richard Allen didn't do it? For example, if you told me that Richard Allen was an Odinist, I would give some credibility to your Odinist theory. If like there was some information that showed me that Richard Allen was an Odinist, I'd go, okay, all right, let's keep moving, let's go ahead. You know, but you don't even do that. You make it sound like he has nothing to do with anything, which is absurd at the very best for you. Okay? It's absurd. Richard Allen is a killer of 2 kids, and you guys spend all your days He didn't do it.
And for good reason, that the family would stand
Merry
with him
Christmas,
in solidarity
bah humbug.
and not accept the verdict by refusing to show up. It is
Hey, thanks so much, Kathy Freidenmaker, which means peacemaker.
unfair to watch this family, or to ask this family to watch this man be sentenced.
No, God, they
Crimes
don't
he
watch
did not commit.
the crime he didn't commit. They had to watch him.
In a trial that has to be redone.
And a trial that just has to be done. And the reason it has to be done is because he was found guilty. And I just know he isn't. Because Kathy said he isn't.
So, Erica, tell me, why do you believe he did not commit this horrific...
Right, that's a good question. I mean, Vinny actually asks good questions during this, but she doesn't really ever answer them directly.
double murder?
Right.
Oh, well, Vinny, we only have, 20 minutes to
We
talk?
only have 20. How about this? Give us 1 minute. Just one thing. Okay? I can do it in 3 minutes. Lay out the case against Richard Allen.
Talk about it tonight. The
But
Frank's memo.
oh, the Frank's memo, everybody. That thing is a masterpiece, according to Bob Mata. It's a masterpiece, one of the greatest documents ever written in the history of mankind in the criminal justice world. It's absolutely the most amazing document ever written, that Odin document. I think it's an embarrassment. Sure, it put out it had a lot of the Odinist theory, if you want to believe in that stuff. But it also did this ridiculous notion that one man couldn't have done this alone, that it would be impossible, which is absurd, right? Everybody knows that. It's insane to literally think that one man couldn't do it alone with a gun and ordering people to do. It's just simple. But they left out that crucial element, that there was a gun that was controlling the girls, even though they knew that that was there. So they did this 80 or 90 bullet point description of how difficult it would be for one single solitary man acting alone with dexterity, and they excruciatingly describe each scene about he had to pull the arm out of the jacket with the right hand, and this single solitary man would then have to... It just was so childishly and idiotically written that anybody reading it and thought there was something of value in terms of that portion needs to have their head examined immediately. Like literally just jump out of your seat, drive yourself to the hospital, and check yourself in. Okay? And I did the exact same thing in my Mr. Rogers video, where while Mr. Rogers is putting on his sweater and how difficult it was, I explained in excruciating detail how difficult it was for one man acting alone to put that sweater on.
Frank's memo, which was not a concoction of the defense team. It was a...
No, it is a concoction of the defense team. They just put elements that were part of, Ferenczi and the other people's investigation into Click, and who's the other guy? I forgot the other one's name. Their investigation into the Odinist theory a long time ago, early on.
And very thoroughly investigated extension of a report created by an FBI task force who developed that theory. And the man who authored that report died at the hands of an Odinist prison guard.
Oh my God, an Odinist prison guard. Okay, well, it turns out the guy was a... here. So here's what she's talking about. Just a second. I think I have it sitting here. I think I put it in here. Yeah. The heck did it go? There it is, right there. Right there. So here it is. Federal grand jury indicts man for the murder of a Terre Haute police detective who served as an FBI task force officer. A federal grand jury in Indianapolis returned an indictment today charging a Terre Haute man with the murder of a federal officer, attempted arson of federal property, and using a firearm during a crime of violence causing death. The charges against Shane Meehan, 45, stem from the July 7, 2021 killing of Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferenczi. So he was a detective for a police department. That's the capacity he was working under. According to court documents on July 7, 2021, Meehan, the killer, drove his pickup truck to the gate of the FBI resident agency building in Terre Haute. Meehan exited his truck and threw a Molotov cocktail towards the building. Shortly thereafter, Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferenczi walked out of the FBI building and was confronted by Meehan, who was holding a firearm. Meehan shot TFO Ferenczi, who died of his injuries. And now they say because this guy was a guard, he therefore was an Odinist. I mean, I haven't seen anywhere out there where this Meehan guy says, yeah, I'm an Odinist. Every day, federal, state, and local law enforcement officers are entrusted. Let's see. So the thing is, what happened was, the guy throws a Molotov cocktail. Let me ask you this. How did he know, by throwing the Molotov cocktail out, that Greg Ferenczi was going to be coming out? It seems like he was just more attacking the building. But the officer that came out was Ferenczi, So doesn't that make more sense that he just threw the Molotov cocktail and it turns out that Ferenczi came out and then he shot that person? But apparently this guy at one point worked as a guard at a prison, and therefore it has to be a Odinist because he worked as a guard. See, look how flimsy the argument is right here. Watch this.
5 days after he turned that report in.
Wait. Say that again?
Mm-hmm. To tell you, Vinny. Back.
And she's always asking Bob to back her up. Back me up.
Me on this. Am I lying?
No.
No. But see, notice how when he says it, he knows that what she said about him being an Odinist is absolute, like just complete conjecture, just guessing into the. Yeah, so he doesn't even say that. Watch when he says when he backs up what she said.
She's talking about Greg Ferenczi, who was one of the three authors of the Odin report that Click, Ferenczi, and Kevin Murphy all put together because they continued that line of investigation for years until Greg Ferenczi was killed, and that was in front of a federal building.
Right. He didn't once. The part that is interesting to sort of the nexus that the lady's creating is that he's an Odinist prison guard. Bob Motta didn't say that she was right on that. She just said, yeah. He goes, yeah, Ferenczi was killed by Meehan, basically. I mean, and he worked as a prison guard, perhaps. Maybe other than that, he didn't say he was an Odinist.
Shortly after he turned in that document.
And it wasn't the amount of time. She said it was like 4 days later. It was a month and a half later. So she didn't even have that right.
Explain this to how was he killed? So the man who was killed was working for the FBI or was part of the task force? Who exactly was he?
He was one of the three members of the task force tasked with investigating all of the tips related, and I mean all of the tips related to a particular group of individuals. And Greg authored the report. It was turned in, I believe, on May 2nd, and
JC says May 2nd.
He, on May 7th, was sitting in an office inside the federal building in, I believe it was Indy or...
She says May 7th, right? So you watch this. It was July 7th. So 2 months later. Not quite the next day after he put the report in. See, everything that she's tried to do on here is to try to make this immediate connection. Oh my God. So Ferenczi put the report out on May 3rd or something. And then May 7th, he's killed by an Odinist guard. Oh my God. Wait a minute. It was actually July 7th. 2 months later. Oops. Yeah.
Terre Haute, and a Molotov cocktail was thrown through his office window. Greg vacated his office, ran outside in front of the...
You mean he threw one at the building. Okay. In his office window.
The federal building, and that is when he was shot in the head.
I don't know if he was shot in the head because he got shot twice and returned fire. If he got shot in the head, I don't think there's any firing back. It could be, but I'm just saying logically, if he was shot in the head, I doubt he is running around returning fire.
A former prison guard who is very openly tied to Odinism.
Openly tied to Odinism. Has anybody seen any of that? His Odinistic rituals?
So was that prison guard arrested and prosecuted for this?
Yes, and charged, convicted. Yes, sir, he was. And this is one of the many details about the Delphi case that the state does not want the world to know. They don't want the world to know that Todd Click has been charged with unrelated crime.
Yeah, we all know it's unrelated. Everybody knows it's unrelated. Everybody knows about it. Why wouldn't they want anybody to know that? What do you mean?
I'm another member of that task force. They don't want to know about the number of people associated with this case who have died or been charged, myself included. They don't want the world to know.
Wait, you've been charged with
Oh
something?
God, she's been charged. Now what? She says the most craziest thing after this. Hey, but by the way, you guys, I'll tell you what. If we get to on a Christmas, let's see, the Christmas show here. If we get to 250, I'll donate $500 to. I was thinking of doing what's that one with the tunnels to towers? What do you guys think about that? So if we get to 250, I'll send in 500 to tunnels to towers. All right. So let's get going. We're at 77 currently. All right.
Now, the bloods. I gotta be.
Look at how crazy this is. She said he asked her, "Did you get? What have you been charged with?" And she says, "Well, I gotta be
careful."
Right.
But the blood spatter expert who testified.
The blood spatter expert that testified
at the Delphi trial was at my home, alone inside my home, 2 days before he testified in the trial, and Bob can attest to that. There's so much y'all don't know, Vinny. There's so much. People.
Wow. Okay, so the blood spatter expert was in your house 2 days before he testified, and you weren't there, and you were charged with something because of what? Have you ever heard anything so ludicrous in your life? Honestly.
People are scared, and then to have Doug and
thank you, Tina Attorney. We're now at 78. We're trying. If we get to 250, I'll donate 500 to tunnels to towers. All right, it'll be sort of I'll double what everybody's doing. It's actually more than doubling because there's only 70% that the channel gets.
Sit there today and disparage us for the work we've done, and talk about the transparency that they claim occurred in a case where there was none, where the defense team...
Oh, and thanks for the bucket of coffee, Lisa Valenzuela.
Team wasn't even allowed to present a case. Let's go. I'm ready. I told you I was going to talk starting the day the gag order was lifted. Let's do this.
Bob, what are you?
I mean, Vinny's even kind of like.
I'm trying to make some sense of all this.
Right,
So
yeah, me too.
It seems
me
like
too.
there's a big backstory here to the whole Odinism angle, and I just want to clarify this, right? So there's a task force that's part of law enforcement, and there's some members of this task force who had a different theory. They did not believe.
Right. I bet she's going to be writing a book pretty soon. You know what I noticed? That she used to be a PI for Jensen. Is that the same Jensen that was the Ron Logan guy? Hey, thanks, Karen. Gray, when you get to the transcripts. Oh, I have no idea. Do you guys want me to buy the transcripts for the what do you call it? The sentencing? I mean, it might be interesting to listen to that. It's like $100 and something bucks. But I really kind of want to get the transcripts for the trial. And it's something like, God, what was it? Something I can't remember. She gave me the numbers per page. It's not cheap. Let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, she did say, yeah, it's $5.75 per page. So could you imagine what a trial would be? Gosh, I bet you that's, 20. It's probably 500 a day minimum, at least, I would think, or something like that. Maybe 200 a day times 14. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do it. We'll have to see how that goes. Sweet. So you guys going to get us up to there so we can do the 500 to Tunnels to Towers? Or we could do a different charity if you guys want. That one I think is important because it helps people that are wounded and they have no way to, it helps them have a home.
Well, don't know, Vinny. There's so much. People are scared. And then to have Doug and Dick sit there today and disparage us for the work we've done and talk about the transparency that they claim occurred in a case where there was none, where the defense team wasn't even allowed to present a case.
No, they were allowed to present a case, just not a fake case trying to confuse a jury with individuals who have no connection to the crime scene. And the defense was given an opportunity at a hearing, that 3-day hearing that they had, to present evidence that shows that they were there and never provided anything. And that's why those individuals were not allowed to be brought up at trial. So it's, what they want to do is be able to tell the jury, listen, this guy that's brain is like a 7-year-old said if you find spit on one of the girls, I can explain it. Something like that. Or this guy said he had a picture that looked like this, so it's kind of similar. And that's kind of that's what they want to get to, but there's no evidence at all that points to them being there. Hey, thanks, Allie K. and Timothy Cecil.
Let's go. I'm ready. I told you I was going to talk.
He's saying, wave anybody? Wave anybody?
Starting the day the gag order was lifted. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's
Bob,
do it, man.
What are you? I'm trying to make some sense of all this. So it seems like there's a big backstory here to the whole Odinism angle, and I just want to clarify this, right? So there's a task force that's part of law enforcement, and there's some members of this task force who had a different.
I know, isn't that weird? They didn't find any spit either, right? So they did this they swabbed all over the place, and they didn't find any spit like that. That would have led directly to a full sequence, and then genetic genealogy would have got that information later. but it wasn't. So who cares if he says, if they have that there, I can explain. It's just, it's insane.
Theory. They did not believe Richard Allen, or Richard Allen wasn't even on the radar yet for anyone, but they believed that
Merry
the murder
Christmas,
of these
Tina.
two girls was connected.
Are you an actual attorney, Tina? That'd be cool. I mean, what type of attorney? Maybe one of these days you can come up here. I'd love to have some like attorney experts on cases sometimes call in, when we're doing cases, just to have that perspective from time to time. Hey, thanks to the attorney and Alley Cake.
To some sort of Odinistic or Odinistic group ritual killing. And what you're telling me is that one member of that group who authored that report is no longer alive. Another one's been arrested for something.
Been charged.
Right before trial. Right.
Oh, right. Oh, it was right before trial, everyone. It must be connected somehow.
Before trial. Unrelated to the case, but
is he...
Yeah, but the time. I mean, okay, I'll give him that. The timing isn't awesome that he got those charges just before the trial, but it is what it is. He did those things.
Law enforcement, or is she law enforcement? Like the people on this task force, were they law enforcement officers?
Oh yeah, these were all longtime cops. These were all decorated. I mean, just Google Greg Ferenczi. You'll see immediately this guy was highly respected. All of these cops were longtime cops. And that's kind of what we've been saying about, this concept of Doug Carter getting up there and casting shade on the defense for doing their job. Number one, let's just understand that. It's their job. And everything that was in that Frank's memo that people on the Richard Allen is guilty, they created this whole narrative thing, the defense did side. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they just don't realize that all of that came from the discovery tendered to the defense by the state.
Yeah, everybody knows.
None of this was cooked up by the defense.
Yeah, they had to give you the Odin documents because that was part of their original investigation. Right. But it was concocted. The whole one single solitary man acting alone. And it was just disturbingly written the way they kept trying to tell everybody how Abby was still alive over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, they were so disturbingly disgusting the way they wrote stuff in that document. Like they didn't care about the victims.
Right.
That exact report we're talking about was in the discovery. That report that we're talking about right now was in the discovery. So when they start talking to these cops, obviously Ferenczi wasn't there to talk to, but the defense called Click, deposed Click. They deposed Kevin Murphy or called Kevin Murphy. They were like, what is this all about? Does this thing have legs?
Wow.
I mean, everything that was in that Frank's memo.
Stay where you are.
Stay where you are.
For the Delphi murders.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But right now we're going over
Paisley Dreams.
some explosive revelations that are being brought by a private investigator who's investigated this case for 2 years. She is with us, Erica Morse, along with Bob Motta, criminal defense attorney, host of Defense Diaries. I've got this information, and I just pulled this up.
No, the document was the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing that said, one single solitary man acting alone with dexterity would have had to take the arm and pull it through the jacket. Then that single solitary man acting alone would have to take the other arm and pull it out of that jacket. Then that single solitary man acting... It was so stupid. Hey, thanks, Karen, again. Next year we'll go up to 8 for 8 years. I've been with you. Hey, wow, it's so cool. I think you've been here from the beginning.
You're hitting me with this tonight, Erica, but I want the folks at home to hear this because this is a press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office. A federal grand jury in Indianapolis returned...
So they went and found that same thing.
Report is handed in 5 days before this happened?
Odin report was turned in on the 2nd of May, and Greg was killed on the 7th.
Of July. Okay, so you're off by 2 months. So he's probably even seeing that right now.
Wow. Was any of this litigated?
It says
Bob?
it right there in the FBI document.
Bob, when was all these revelations coming out first, Eric? When were these pieces put together? And when did you like understand, like, oh my goodness, there might be something else going on here?
The first round of discovery.
Maybe you didn't see it. Well, let me go back. Let me go back to that writing. Yeah, it's right there. Look. Look how it says it on their screen. July 7th, 2021. Now, next time she says it, she does say the 7th, which gives her an out, but earlier she said Mesa.
First, Eric, when were these pieces put together? And when did you like understand, like, oh my goodness, there might be something else going on here?
The first round of discovery and found the Odin report. In that discovery, that's when everybody kind of pumped the brakes for a second and went, what the hell are we dealing with here? And
well, how do we know that Shane...
Conspiracy nutters did that. But here's where, and this is another great question by Vinny. Watch. Listen to her answer to this question now.
How do we know that Shane Meehan does he claim to be an Odinist?
Bob Mata doesn't shake his head. She goes, yeah.
Yes, and he his employment is listed throughout the trial as a former prison guard in the DOC.
You see how ludicrous that is right there? Come on, you guys. Wow. Yeah, and he was listed. What does it have to do with anything that he was a security guard? The reason you're saying that is because you know that earlier on those people had their those patches and so forth that were mentioned. So you want to sort of make a connection that therefore he was an Odinist because he also was a guard. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, on his Facebook page he says this and this, we have this evidence that he was, that would make sense, right? But she didn't do that because there probably isn't anything. Now maybe there is. I haven't looked into that guy, Sheehan or anything. So maybe there is some, glaring posts on his Facebook page and different documents out there that show that he's an Odinist. But she didn't, I don't believe there is because of the way she answered that question. So how do you know that he's an Odinist? Does he admit it? Yeah, and he was a guard at a prison. You see how it's not even related at all? All right, you guys, we're at 152.86. We've got another 98 to go with all 223 of you, and then I'll donate $500 to, we're trying to get to 250. I'll donate $500 to Tunnels to Towers. All right, but we've hit one of those lulls, so we're going to struggle to get there, so let's try to get it.
And as you recall, we had a lot of problems with prison guards inside the DOC being Odinists. Oh,
Whoa.
Gosh, I hope I'm here in 24 hours, Vinny.
Wow, I hope I'm here in 24 hours, she said. Like, she's trying to make it seem like she's really deep into this, shadowy world that she's involved in. If you only knew a fraction of what I knew. Oh, I just hope I'm here in 24 hours.
A lot of problems with allegations about Odinist prison guards and some of the...
I mean, hell, the blood spatter expert was inside her house 2 days before he testified. I feel like I should be playing the like the Halloween sound effects, some of these, like... Was that his feet walking in the house? Merry Christmas! Hey, look at there's Karen with 1777. We are now, it says 80 short up there. Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, Odin. Jesus.
those guys testified at
Hey,
trial.
thanks, Cheryl Bullock. Merry Christmas.
Again, there was a reason why cameras weren't allowed in that courtroom. There was a reason why pen and paper only were allowed. And as Andy Baldwin said, you know, a couple of years ago, standing inside one of the courthouses, he said, it's time for journalists to be journalists. And we were begging you guys while being stifled, silenced, threatened, retaliated against.
Hey, thanks. So, Alyssa Stedman, Merry Christmas. Your sound effects and imitations are the best. Cuddles to all the doggies. Yep, they're awesome. Yeah, they're starting to, they're coming around. Well, they're not in there currently, but they're coming around for sure. All right. And thanks, Cheryl Bullock and Alyssa Stedman. We're now 60 short.
Scabbed to dig deeper and deeper because we couldn't tell the world what was happening. But what we continued to do throughout the process is file motions and provide information that should have been allowed in at trial to be explored by a jury. And not only was it not allowed, but then today, a very extreme effort was made to shut down any attempt to let us talk about it. And listen, I'm all in at this point. An innocent man was just sentenced to 130 years in prison today.
Innocent man.
His wife has
Wow.
become one of my best friends. And
I guess he's required to serve 80% of the time. So Cody actually commented when he was leaving and said, yeah, so that's 100 and I think he said like 105 years or something.
I can't let this go. Rick Eland is an innocent man, and we can prove it.
All right, stay where you are. We're going to do an extra segment on this. We're going to take a short break right now, but more to the story. We'll be right back. Erica Morse is with us, private investigator. Has worked this case for 2 years. Bob Mata knows this case inside out, has been covering it in defense diaries. Bob Mata's a great attorney. So the man who shoots and kills the author of the Odinism report and shoots and kills the FBI task force member who's a Terre Haute detective is now in a hospital, not competent to stand trial, apparently, for these federal charges.
Yeah. Yep.
He's having mental issues. So I don't know what's
Just
going
like
on there.
Richard Allen, he probably didn't do it then.
Bob,
Hey, these guys should be out there claiming that this Ferenczi guy didn't actually do it. And it was some other Odinist who shot Ferenczi. You know, so they should claim Meehan didn't do it. I mean, they should claim that Meehan didn't do it and that some other Odinist shot Ferenczi, because he too is having mental problems, maybe because he was put in prison while waiting there. So obviously anything he said or did while he was in there just can't be believed whatsoever.
Mata, let me ask you a quick question. Quick answer. What can the defense team do with this information? And this, does this become anything that can be used to get a new trial?
See, I don't think she's... I mean, do you guys really think she's best friends with Kathy Allen?
Yeah, I mean,
I could see her tricking her way in there because she's selling such wild stuff that maybe Kathy would want to believe it.
the bulk of it was contained in the Franks memo. I mean, that a huge amount of what we've been talking.
What do you mean? We've known about this for a long time. I've talked about it. Yeah, you missed it a long time ago. It happened like 3 years ago. It's an old story. It's not new or anything.
About was contained in the Franks memo.
It's larger than that. If you've got someone who's alleged to be a former Department of Corrections Odinist who shoots and kills the author of the guy who says the Odinists are responsible for the murder of Abby and Libby.
Yeah, except he was killed in 2021. So it wasn't like... how about this, you guys? There wasn't even an arrest made at that point. So nobody even knew Odinism was going to be this big part of anything. So, you know, he was killed in 2021, right? In July, I think they said July 7th, right, of 2021. So what does it have to do with anything? I mean, look at this. July 7, 2021 is when he was killed. Richard Allen was arrested 15 months later.
Yeah, I mean...
And it has nothing to do with anything. It was just this random Sheehan guy. Is that his name? Sheehan? Let me get that name out again. Yeah, Meehan. I'm mixing his first name and his last name. So it's Shane Meehan, right? He's 45, and that was, that's how old he was then, and he killed Gregory Ferenczi. And he threw a cocktail at the building, and then Ferenczi came out and he shot him. What if Joe Smith had came running out? He would have shot Joe Smith. See, I don't think the fact that Ferenczi got shot has anything to do with anything. And because this guy, Meehan, used to be a guard at a prison, he therefore is an Odinist. You get it?
They're going to have to make that connection. I don't know if that connection's been made. It certainly wasn't.
Jeez.
Odinist who shoots and kills the author of the guy who says the Odinists are responsible for the murder of Abby and Libby.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to make that connection. I don't know if that connection's been made.
Sorry,
certainly
about that.
Wasn't brought up by the defense in that context because they're worried about defending Richard Allen.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying?
So that connection, is that new evidence that could get you potentially a new trial?
If it has legs.
Okay. Erica Morse, does it have legs?
It has legs, and there's a lot of new information. The one thing
there's a lot of new information. What new? From when? New information from when? Right? I mean, right after the trial, there's all this new information. If they just could have presented it.
I really have to stress here is that this defense team, a group of individuals assigned, and then some others brought on by request, independently and collectively,
I'd never even heard of this person, I don't think. I think I've seen her before, but just until this interview here. That's when I first, gave a damn what her name was,
We keep hearing countless hours. Well, I did a little bit of very conservative math today, and I'd say on our end, conservatively, 22 to 25,000 hours as a team on this case. And we have done such thorough investigating. We took that 27-page Odin report and turned it into a 136-page Frank's memo.
We turned it into that. Who is she? Who's we here?
And there is a reason they fought to keep that out, and there is a reason why every time we tried to...
Yeah, look at the reason the prosecution fought to keep it out is because they want to... Look, here's the truth. They want to win the case because Richard Allen is the killer. If you're allowed to put in this Odinist crap and trick the jury into thinking, man, maybe there is this wild Odinist out there, even though there's no evidence they were anywhere near the scene. And then they wanted to bring up, okay, you lost that one, you didn't get the cell phone data dump, and there was an interview, and that's missing, and therefore it's reasonable to believe that law enforcement actually had the right people early on. They just chose to completely ignore the information because they must have brethren inside the Odinist clan, you see. So when law enforcement found out, this is what the defense people, this is what they believe. All the wackos, the people like I don't even have to throw out their names, but all the crazy people out there that believe Richard Allen is innocent, most of them have dropped going after the family, but they believe that law enforcement is filled with Odinists. This is what the logic leads to later. So when law enforcement was doing the investigation, they realized that it pointed directly to their Odinist brethren. And so what they did was they ignored them, but at the same time, they planted a bullet at the scene just in case. Okay, so these Odinists, let's see, how would this have worked? Let's see. Okay, so the Odinists were going to kill the girls and gave a heads up to law enforcement, their Odinist brethren, and said, hey, we're going to be killing these 2 girls. Is there any way you can help frame somebody else in case we get caught? And they said, sure. We got this lackey named Richard Allen. They snuck into his house, ejected a bullet, and then placed it at the crime scene when they finally got there, right? So when they got there, they just dropped it out of their pocket, and lo and behold, it came from Richard Allen. And then for years, law enforcement sat around, letting time sort of heal the thoughts that maybe Odinists were involved. And then one day, after they were looking into another predator named Keegan Kline, right in the middle of that investigation, they decided, okay, this is a good time to throw it in there. Okay, have this lady find this report. Now, here's what we need you to do. You see how stupid this is? Because how in the hell if this was all orchestrated and plotted, why in the hell did Richard Allen, so that would mean that the conservation officer, he was part of it, that he created this report all the way back then, or maybe he never did it, it was just put in later. That's what it is. You see how crazy it is, you guys? It just is a pure insanity. All right, right now we are at 195. If we get to 250, I'm sending in $500 to not Wounded Warriors. Shit, what's the other one that I just said a minute ago? To Tunnels to Towers. I think that's the one I was looking at. I can't stand the fact that they are wrong. Hurt theory. Just think how stupid it is, you guys. How would you have plotted and planned this out? And then finally, or maybe they think, okay, it's been Odinist the whole time. But then when the name of Richard Allen popped up, what was the lady's name again? That they just said her name yesterday. Darn it. What's the lady's name that found the tip in there when she was reprocessing the whole thing? I don't know why it's not popping into my head. It usually does. Getting old, I guess. Yeah, Kathy Shanks. There you go. Okay. Kathy Shank. Yeah, so she finds it. But so if you want to make it a conspiracy, you'd have to have it's a fake tip. They had her look through it, and it's not really true that she just was putting things together and remembered something, and then forward it, and they go, oh, this is who we needed to be able to pin it on. We were trying to get it away from our Odinist buddies and trying to find enough information on Keegan Kline, but it just wasn't working. But look at this guy. We can just make it work. So here we go. Because look, there was 2 guys with patches at the prison, so therefore... And I don't know if you guys see how crazy this whole thing is. Stupid.
Get it in. It was shut down and shut down quickly. We have conflicts.
The Odinist stuff should have been shut down. It was investigated, and it was determined not to be related. Okay? Now, you want it to be related, so therefore you want it to be brought up again, and then you can bring up stuff that you think can insinuate that there's a cover-up because little pieces of information are missing, like I don't know, interview here or something there. You know, and this is all stuff that was deemed to be unrelated early on. Does anybody in here really think that if law enforcement was on the right track with the Odinist people and they were really digging around, that they wouldn't have just kept going and eventually made an arrest in that? That's just it just seems so obvious. Richard Allen answered every single question that law enforcement had.
Of interest running amok in this case. We have very strange timelines that don't fit. For those who were in the courtroom today, there was the one thing that Brad did ask was that the record be corrected to reflect that Rick was not arrested on October 28th, that he was actually arrested on October 26th. And I can tell you that I've spent the last 2 weeks of my life going through every minute of October 26th through October 28th, and it has resulted in a lot of new information.
Okay. We're out of time for tonight, but obviously we will continue to follow up on this. Erica Moore?
Yeah, now she was actually on Bob Motta's show, and this is what she was saying.
Thing where you're trying to keep Kathy positive, which is goddamn near impossible. You know, it's like she's just watched the.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's a very hard ask. And then to compound that grief and that trauma with the guilt that Kathy feels for insisting that Rick pick up the phone that night.
So she's saying the night that after, when she got home from work after he had just killed the two girls, Kathy Allen feels bad because she's the one that insisted that he call. But this would have been on the 14th or 13th.
And call the police.
I don't believe this is
to volunteer himself.
I think she did that on the 15th when the picture was put out there and they wanted to have people come forward that were on the trails that day. That's when she said it.
Having been on that bridge that day. That's what a lot of people are probably just about ready to find out. Kathy Allen came home from work. Rick was asleep on the couch.
So Rick was asleep on the couch, but guess what? She probably got home, 5:30 or so. And that's hours, an hour and a half or so after, maybe an hour or so, hour and a half after Kathy, before Kathy got home.
And the television was blaring.
Thanks, Karen and Toxic Think. We're now at 204. We need 46 more. Come on, freaks. We can do it. Shouldn't be that difficult. Times are getting better.
It was on. The TV was on. He'd fallen asleep with the TV on. And she walked in to the 5:30 news, I think it was. And it was...
So she walks into the 5:30 news. So that is about 2 hours after they think almost 3 after they think the girls were killed, but an hour and a half after Sarah Carbaugh saw him.
Featuring a story about the girls being missing.
So she comes home and there's a story. Okay, yes. So on the 13th, there's a story about the girls being missing.
And
we saw all those.
Kind of, shook Rick to wake him up. Hey, did you say you were going out for a walk, today on the trails? Yeah, why? Did you happen to see these two girls? They're missing. What? What are you talking about? Rick, they want anybody who was there to call the police. They're hoping maybe you saw something.
I think this might be accurate, this thing. Maybe.
That guilt will never subside.
Right, because at the time she didn't realize. Because don't you remember when she was interrogated? Or not interrogated, when she was in the interrogation room with Richard Allen, she said to him, "You didn't tell me you were on the bridge." Things were making sense to her now, too.
Ever. She feels like she accidentally and inadvertently threw her husband to the wolves to be framed because that's precisely what occurred.
No, he isn't being framed for anything. He said that he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He said that he parked his car. Basically, he actually on a map, he pointed to the abandoned CPS building. He walks to the trails. He passes 3 of 4 girls that were walking by. And well, he passed 4 of them, but he only saw 3. And he said he saw them, and those girls saw him. Then he said he went to the bridge, and when he got to the bridge, behind him came Betsy Blair. Then Betsy Blair saw him standing on platform 1, exactly on the platform that he said he was standing on, wearing exactly the same clothing that the bridge guy was wearing. And Richard Allen said he was wearing those clothing, that clothing. And every one of the witnesses said the person they saw was the person in Libby's video. Then after Betsy Blair turned around, after seeing Richard Allen standing on platform 1, the same platform that he said he was standing on, she turns around and walks back the other direction and passes Abby and Libby, who therefore are going to run into Richard Allen, who was standing on the first platform, the same platform that he said he was standing on, wearing the exact same clothing as the guy in the bridge guy video. So he is bridge guy. There is no doubt. Everybody already knows that. Hey, thanks up there to Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, but Plato and Alley Cake. And Karen says, Gray, she reminds me of the crazy lady who was on your show once. The lady who stands outside of people's houses. Oh, she was never on my show. Oh, you mean, I thought you were talking about, yeah, Go Lightly. Yeah, that one. Yeah, she's crazy. She reminds me more of the other Bullhorn Betty.
We'll have the conversations later, Bob, about why a DNR officer was assisting in this investigation. We will have the conversations as to how untrained people were touching these witness statements and these evidence.
Okay. But see, that's what you're going for. I'd like one person. I'd love to see a panel where these people aren't sort of, gosh, I wish they could have done this a little better, like strategically trying to figure out how they can disprove what the prosecution's saying. I want you to tell me what evidence out there proves that Richard Allen didn't do this. And I know it's like you say, well, the burden of proof is on they've already proven it. So I want you to show us now, what was it that showed that he didn't do this? Okay? All of you guys. And they never can. They just keep doing the same thing. I heard one of these idiots, Delphi, I don't know, what's the name of that? Something Dark, not Delphi After Dark. What the hell is the other one? The one, the girl that runs around with her dogs outside. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. She's actually said, listen to this, she said the other day that the Mitch Westerman was that actually law enforcement had him take those documents and distribute them to make the defense look bad. Yeah, Michelle After Dark. She is an embarrassment, you guys. It's unfortunate, though, because people actually believe the shit she throws out there. It's disgusting, okay? And she even said, oh, gosh, I'm going to have so much content, you guys. I mean, we're going to go over this, and we're going to just keep on covering all these different... That's exactly why you're doing that. That's exactly why you're doing it, because it creates content out of thin air, okay? You have something, a case that's closed and over. It's done. Richard Allen is the killer, but you claim he's innocent, and it's sort of like the Karen Reed case. Everybody's just going to keep, show after show after show after show after show. She's an embarrassment. And she's been that way the whole time, and I think it's sad that that many people during live streams are like, oh, wow, that makes sense. Ooh, oh, wow. And it's complete garbage. I mean, it really is, and it's disturbing on a lot of different levels. And oh yeah, she also implied that I covered up something. Let's see, what was it that I? Right now we're 5 short of doing the $500. You guys, 5 short. Hey, look at that. Georgina Stoliker gifted to Tuzret. What is that? Tuzret. And Toxic Tink gifted a membership to Uniquely Susie Retired Hospice RN. The second longest name in YouTube history. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I want to know. Like, when the transcripts, do they do the transcript of the interrogations? I don't think they do. Yeah. So anyways, let's listen to this part.
You know, some pieces of evidence. We'll talk about all that because, as you know, this story is going to take years to unravel from now moving forward.
No, it's never going to. In fact, he might not even get, like, you know, once he does his appeal and they deny it, there isn't any more. He's just in there.
Yeah.
But
it's not like he got the death penalty or something.
Is going through to have the hate, the false and despicable allegation.
Yeah, I actually don't believe that Kathy knew that he was the killer all those years. I think she looked at the picture. This is my opinion. I think she saw the picture and said, oh man, that looks like that could be him. But he said he wasn't on the bridge, so she goes, okay, it must not be him. A lot of people wear those kind of clothing. And so there it was. Because she even said, you didn't tell me you were on the bridge that day. See, that sort of shows you that there was something she didn't know. Hey, thanks, Karen. Yep, I mean, it sucks for Zozo out there, probably, or a Christmas without her mom, you know, so it's pretty tough for her, I'm sure. And Tim Bray, thank you. All right, so I guess that's going to do it. Then her mic kind of went wacky there. Brandon Collins says, no way, that's accurate. They weren't playing anything on the 13th at 5:30 on the news. They even call the cops until 5 p.m. Hey, that's a good point. Didn't even think of that. Yeah, I remember watching the news and it was dark, but it was also dark where I live when it came out that they were missing. So that's a good point. Very good point there. So they said, let me put that on the screen from Brandon Collins there. Said, no way that's accurate. They weren't playing anything on the 13th at 5:30 on the news. They didn't even call the cops until 5. Yeah, and they didn't even start showing up until, like, you know, maybe 5:30 or so. Yeah, so it would have probably been 6:30, 7 o'clock. So that story is, here's what I think the truth is, you know, I don't know if Kathy Allen ever said a damn thing to, it sounded kind of legitimate the way that story is, but maybe that part, no. I think what happened is on the 15th, her memory just doesn't remember correctly. This is what I think. The bodies were found on the 14th. The 15th, the image of Bridge Guy was put out in the media, and there was news articles and stuff was out there, and they were saying, hey, if anybody knows this person, we'd like the person to come forward who's been to the bridge that day. Now, it could have been the day before. She said, hey, you were out there. Why don't you come forward? But he didn't do anything. Then on the 15th, the image was put out there. And he saw himself. Richard Allen looks at the news, sees himself, and said, oh, man, they've got me. There's those 3 girls that I passed. He was worried about those because he has that public job. Then he sees his own picture as the Bridge Guy image out there. And that was on the 15th. And then the next day, well, it wasn't the next day. The next day, he brought himself to a station, like a police station, and turned himself, you know, his tip in. He didn't turn himself in. He just turned his tip in that, hey, I was there that day. And then Dan Doolin, a few days after that, was sent out to talk to him. I can't remember if it was on the 18th or something like that. But it was like a couple days after. And that's sort of strange, right? Because that's not correct. This thing I got on the screen right here. This should be this is like February 18th, this one. I believe. Wasn't this the 18th? The first one? Press conference? Pretty sure. I'll check someplace real fast here. Scene of the crime. And Delphi. Press. Might have been the 22nd. Yeah, it was the 22nd. That's right. Because the 25th they went to the. So there you go. So what day was the Dan Doolin one? I thought that was the 18th. But the 16th he went into the station and said, yeah, he was out there that day. And then the 18th, I think he wanted to get ahead of it. And again, like I said on a previous show, the video that Libby took is what caused Richard Allen to come forward. So it was so useful in many different ways. His voice, his image is consistent with him. You've got the fact that Richard Allen came forward because he saw himself. That's just a lot of different information. And it has what the guy was wearing. And it matches what... I mean, man, that video is absolutely, like, crucial to the case. Because if he hadn't come forward, this case would never be solved. Ever. Unless he committed another crime with that gun and the bullet ejection marks matched. That's it. Never would have been solved without that video. And him coming forward. But he came forward, I believe, because of the video. What do you guys think? All right, anyways, let's do the, what is it, Tunnels for Towers. And thanks up there to Brandon Collins and Karen and Tim Bray. Well, there's Wounded... Okay, you guys want to do Tunnels to Towers or Wounded Warriors? How about I'll do a poll here? Alright. Let me do a poll. Or Tunnels to Towers. Tunnel to Towers. And then Wounded Warriors. There we go. Here is the poll. They're the ones that make, I think, the houses for people. You know, the ones that can't move around very well. You know, like they have a disability. Is there another one that does that too? I just said what it was. I don't know how could you not have heard of Tunnels to the Towers? It's all over the place. Yeah, that was one of the things, Mark. It isn't the thing. Even if the voice didn't match, there was no voice, he would have been convicted. Yeah, so it wasn't the thing. Yeah. But it was one of the things that they were able to say, oh yeah, it sounded just like him. Like a lot of the people that heard the first interrogation said, oh yeah. You guys have never heard of that? Jesus. That's wild. I said 4 though. What is Tunnels to Tower? We've been helping American heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families with young children, and by buying special adapted smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. We are also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11, 2021. Sounds like a pretty good one, doesn't it? All right, so here we go. Looks like that one won anyways. So I might have to go get, you know, I don't know if I have to put my private information in here. I'm gonna have to go get my wallet though. If it's PayPal, I can do it right here. But Yep. Yeah, so it looks like it's a credit card one, so I gotta go get that. Alright, you guys. I like being a coffee supporter because Greg gets more. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Does it have the amount? All right, I got to go into the other part of the house. Let me play some of this Christmas music for you guys while I... What happens at the end? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. It has different songs. All right. Right? Hold on a second. Keep filling this stuff out over here now. I'll show you the email if they send me It's another version. Green sleeves or something. All right, here we go. Yeah. Huh? Oh. Shoot. Did that wrong. Darn it. Idiot. Gotta start over again. I have to do this again. Darn it. I signed up for the monthly thing on accident. Jesus. God. Defaults to monthly. I think I did it right. Oh, hold on 1 second. I gotta go. Yeah. Jeez. Copy email. Hey, thanks for all the coffees, you guys. Guess we did 511. Alright, well, looks like we've got the, there it is. Alright. I don't know what it is, but that music's making me angry. I'm just kidding. Look at, there it is. So I came in the inbox. Thank you for your donation. $500. Tunnels to Towers. Right there, 500, 1224. There you go. And there's the receipt. So I'm going to go save that out there. Oh, we've done Tunnels to Towers before. Okay, so good. All right, everybody, thank you. That was very cool. Very cool, very cool. I accidentally did the $11 a month one, but I just wanted to do the one. So we did 511. So I guess we gotta update our over here.
Merry Christmas, Ryan Freeze.
Oh, there's the dogs in there.
Hot.
All right, so this one is now can be updated to grand total is 226,000. All right. Yeah. 226,000. And then this year is 46 46,511. Well, I'm going to leave it at 500 in case they reverse that one out. I don't know. 36.5. Plus, I don't like the... Uh-oh, looks like Gracie was put in the timeout box. You know, she hasn't been fixed yet, and neither has either of the two Chihuahuas, because they're all like 6 or 7 months old. Gonna keep them separated. I don't know why she's in there. Maybe she might have been caught. A lot of times, if the other dogs are out and they're trying to play, you know, it could be that they were, I don't know what the hell's going on. Don't know the answer. But you know what I did build here? I might make a video, put this out there. But this is just all Doug Carter every time he spoke to people. Look. I think it'd be pretty cool. You guys want to listen to that or what? But anyways, this whole... I think it's really weird that there's people out there that actually think that Richard Allen is innocent. And then you ask them, based on what? You know, what is it? You know? And none of them can give you an answer. They all are trying to tell you how they could have argued a point and tried to trick people. You know, like, like, well, if we can get those Odinists in there, could have tricked the jury. You know, they could have seen something else. If we could have done... They're not really looking at it like, you know what, god dang it, is this guy actually... Did he do it or what? Look at this. This is obvious. He admitted it with information only killer... Oh, that Gray guy, though. He knew about the... He knew all about the white van and stuff. You know, and the doctor must have told him. You know, and... No, that's not... It didn't work like that way at all. And not only that, I heard about it a year and like... You know, way over a year after he said it in a confession. Right? So it's not even, it's just, I gotta just say, it's so ludicrous when you listen to it. A year and a half, actually, is what it was. I think it was like this year in March. And then I think those confessions were actually in 2023, early in the year too, right? Wasn't it like... Yeah, some similar month range. So a year later. And like when you're in this world of true crime, you have people out there that know you and you hear different things from time to time. That's how it is in every case that's out there. There's always some people that know stuff. Now the thing is this PI that was on Court TV, she isn't going to know anything other than what the defense and Kathy Allen and those guys want you to know. And none of it's earth-shattering, is it? How come, why doesn't she sit down and take the time, because she said, oh, there's so much, just sit there and ramble for 4 hours somewhere so that everybody can have all of the incredible information that you have behind the scenes that absolutely exonerates poor Richard Allen, the killer of 2 kids. But if it exonerates him, it's not fair, Gray. Okay. All right. Thanks, Nikki Zubs. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. I actually thought there was going to be like 50 people watching tonight. All right, here we go. I'm going to play this now. And if you're out there and you haven't joined the channel, you should do it. This is a great channel. We cover all kinds of different cases. Some just random cold cases from long ago. Now we had an interesting one last night. Probably going to dig deeper into that one somehow. Somebody got a hold of me just recently for a case that we covered. Remember that one we did? It was on Christmas Eve in Fort Worth, Texas. The girl inside the apartment, she was like killed. just before her sort of ex-husband or something like that, I think it was husband or the father of the kids was coming over with the kids to celebrate. They find her dead in there, and they had DNA, but they've never done anything. So I'm definitely going to have to look back into that one again. I'll pay for the DNA work. And basically, the channel does. From your guys' support, my ad revenue, the channel memberships, etc., etc., etc. And as you can see, like tonight we gave $500 out, right? That's from the income from the channel. And the thing is you don't really see a lot of other true crime YouTubers donating a nickel of their own money to a soul. They always do these. They bring in super chat, and then they do maybe a quick fundraiser. Oh, look at everybody, and it all comes out directly to them, and there's no pain for them. All right. So this channel, we've given over like 46,500 this year so far. That's out of my income to the channel, right? And then it's made possible by you guys. So I think that's kind of a cool. I like the model. It gets difficult sometimes. Like, hey everybody, if you help support the channel tonight, It's kind of old and it's not really fun to always do that. But I think it's cool that we're able to fund so many important things. We actually have, if you're new here and you just watch for the first time, we have a scholarship fund as well, where we give 2 years in a row now. We've given $6,000 out. Last year we did two $3,000. This year 3 $2,000 scholarships to students in the criminal justice world. All right, so we're making a difference. We've put over close to 100,000 into our DNA fund at this point, which identifies Jane and John Does in murder cases. I'm sure you guys get sick of hearing this. I'm saying this, but I think it's important because I think we set ourselves way apart from the rest of the true crime community in terms of actually making a tangible difference out there. Not only in the cases by presenting accurate information so that there's a safe haven for people who really give a shit about the facts of a case to listen to. We've actually helped out in some cases that have been out there, and we make a huge difference to the charities that we support, etc. Right? So thank you guys, and Merry Christmas. Thanks, Karen. Great. Did Blue and Chloe used to sleep with you and Chris? No. Nope. We don't do the dog sleep in the bed thing. In the morning they can jump up, hey, what's going on, that kind of thing, but they're not going to be sleeping in there. All right, you guys ready for this? I think it might be interesting just to hear Doug Carter over the 7 years. Don't you think? Or 8. Almost 8 years, really. No, I guess it's close. Well, no, it is closer to 8. Yeah, that's wild. All right, here we go. Hey, thanks, Timothy Cecil, for T-Money. It's just Doug Carter, though. Why Libby? Why Abby?
Words tend to escape during these periods of times, and I've only had a couple of other situations in my lifetime where I'm able to stand before you and say that.
Let me boost up the audio on this one. It's too low. I can tell by looking at it.
Why Libby?
There we go.
Why Abby? Why Delphi? Why Carroll County? Why the region? Why the state? Why even in the nation? I say that because this is a classic example and a clear example that evil lives amongst us. To the family, to the community, the region, the state, as a leader of the Indiana State Police, I say I am so very sorry. Resources, It's unlikely that any of you will ever see, nor will we ever see or experience again, the level of resources that are attached to this investigation. To the media, my gosh, all I can say is to give you my sincere thanks. See, this isn't like TV. There's a perception that this can be solved very quickly. Anything that we do can be solved very quickly, but this is a testament that it can't, and we need you. We've needed you since last week. We need you today, and we need you tomorrow. And likely, we'll need the media all across this nation. So from a simple guy like me to you, I say thank you. To the people dressed funny like me and those that represent the law enforcement profession, please understand we're human beings just like you. I'd stand anywhere in the nation with people standing behind me. And I would suggest to you that every time something like this happens, a little piece of us dies as well. But I also want you to understand how committed we are as a collective one, and we will continue. This has been briefed all the way up to the director of the FBI, Director Comey, and Greg Mass is going to talk a little bit about that. I've had an opportunity to speak to my boss, Governor Eric Holcomb, a couple different times about this situation. And every time I do, I see this look that comes over his face, just like yours and this community's. And that's the unfortunate experience of experiencing evil. We're not stopping. The poster in front of you. Someone knows who this individual is.
Bridge guy.
Someone knows who this individual is. Is it a family member? Is it a neighbor? Is it an acquaintance? Is it an associate? Or maybe that one guy that lives over at that one place that just kind of not right.
That's Richard Allen. He was always a little bit not right, wasn't he?
Maybe it's his jeans. Maybe it's his jacket or his sweatshirt. Maybe it's his shirt tail. Maybe it's his posture. Maybe it's the right hand in his pocket. You see, even with technology, we need human intelligence. In other words, we need you. I'm not suggesting that science, that everything that we can do as science has been done, because we are just getting started. Abby and Libby deserve us. They deserve every single one of us, and not just the people standing up here on the stage that have given so much of their lives to not just this, but to this profession, but each and every one of you. Each and every person listening, watching, or seeing this in some form, we need you. Libby and Abby need you. Please do not rationalize tips away. Rationalize what you think that might not be important away. By thinking he would never do that to another human being. Or think, what I know doesn't matter. Let folks like the people that are standing behind me with such incredible passion and commitment and dedication to this profession make that determination. Tips are anonymous. Some might not want to talk about it because they don't want to get involved, because they know the individual. Again, he may be a family member, probably has family. No one will ever know. No one will ever know. There's not an agency on the planet better than
See that? He probably has a family.
than helping us facilitate this than the FBI. And they're as entrenched in this as anybody. No one will know. As poor as this picture is, somebody knows. And if you're watching, we'll find you. Who's next? I hate hesitate to ask you that question, and I'd give my life to not have to. But I know you've asked yourself that very question. We must recognize it. You see, we're all the same. We're all human beings. We must keep our resolve for Libby and Abby, for this community, and frankly, to ensure that good trumps evil. And it will. You're going to hear more in just a minute about what we know. Do not discount the voice that you'll hear. We will stay committed with resolve very rarely exhibited with human behavior until this conclusion. Please be patient. Become our partners and communicate with us as often as you can. And now from a very humble servant, that's the most blessed guy on this planet to represent the profession that I represent, to Abby and Libby. It's my hope and my prayer that you're now experiencing God's promise of eternal peace. Welcome. I didn't really know what to expect when I stood on this trail just a little bit ago, over the course of the last 15 minutes, but very uncomfortable feeling. We're a year today. I would be remiss to not talk about the people that have made...
I'm going to make it a little louder. Like a few decibels, maybe like 4, probably better.
Made this whole for the first year without an arrest. We talked about Sheriff Linsonby, who stands behind me to the left, and Kevin Hammond, Mike Peasley with the FBI, Jerry Holman over my right shoulder, Steve Buckley, the new prosecutor Nick McClelland here in Carroll County. What I've seen over this course of the last years are memories and times and comments and things that will stand with me and live with me for the rest of my life. The very best of humanity. In the very worst of times. I was able to see from afar this community.
Who are you talking to, Lucas Van Zoas? Yeah, we've got Karen, people with the name of Karen in here, so what?
In Carroll County, in the city of Delphi, come together and support not only law enforcement, the people that were here that have given so much of their lives to this case, but also to the families. And I just wanted to say I am forever humbled. I don't know what you expected today, but I came to plead and implore you to keep this out front and center. I've said before, and I'm confident I'll say again, I hope that one day when we all meet Abby and Libby that they tell us you did well. That's my hope. We cannot allow evil to prevail. Our world is completely out of balance, and we cannot allow that to prevail. I've said all along that we, as an agency, will be here as long as I'm breathing and as long as Governor Holcomb allows me to continue to stay in the position that I hold. I have the opportunity to brief him regularly. This isn't about how many hours we spend. It's not about how much it costs. It's about every single... Hey,
is there anybody here? You guys seem like you quit talking. It's like it just died completely down to zero chat.
Asset that the ISP has, we will give to this sheriff, this community, and to each and every one of you, because I refuse to accept evil as a standard bearer in American society, not here. People have oftentimes asked me, why is this so personal to you?
I didn't know that Dennis Stewart lost his brother. He sent me a Merry Christmas email. He didn't mention that.
It's personal to me because those two young girls were everybody's daughter. In this beautiful place that represents the very best of humanity. And look what happened. That's why it's very personal to me. And I just hope that one day I can look into the eyes of a murderer and ask him why. And I believe that we will. I believe that we will. I know you have a bunch of questions for me. But please understand, if the question has to do with the investigative process, tactics associated with the investigation, what only the killer would know, that we know, I can't answer your question. And I just ask for you to please understand that when we open this up. Many people have said, did you think it'd be a year? I don't know. I don't know. How do you answer that question? I believe we're one piece of the puzzle away from figuring out who this individual is. Then the
Yep, Mr. Gray. Kathy Shank, that was the one piece.
real work begins. Over 30,000 tips. Thank heavens the FBI was engaged with us, with the Orion system and the expertise that the FBI brought from all over the country to allow us to manage that kind of data. We've had inquiries and requests for discussion from agencies all over the country, not only because this is such a high-profile case, but because of the complexities associated with the time since we found their bodies a year ago tomorrow. As I close my comments to you, I want to say thank you. I've had the pleasure of having relationships with our local media and our statewide media and even our national media for more than 30 years. I appreciate our partnership. I appreciate our partnership. I've had the opportunity to travel to the East Coast and the West Coast with Mike and Becky and the families to continue to perpetuate this message if somebody out there knows who this individual is. None of that's possible without you. It's really, really important that you understand how important and what the importance of the role is that you play. Technology is wonderful, but technology can also challenge us. I would ask that folks not continue to compare photographs on the internet. Please, if you have an idea of an individual, of a comment, of a phrase, of a name, that you send it to us. It creates lots of complications when that analysis is done outside of the purview of the experts that I happen to be able to represent that are standing behind me today. So I hope you hear me loud and clear. If you're watching this and you're responsible, today may be your day. It might be tomorrow, but I can guarantee you your day's coming. We've got to perpetuate the relationship that we have, and we've got to not stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen detectives that have given their lives to this case, that have held off and discussed holding off retirement, that have canceled family vacations, that work nights, weekends, and holidays.
Yeah, this isn't a common press conference that you see out there too much.
So that we can explain to you one day and to this incredible community and to our state what happened.
This is probably the most famous press conference. Other than, well, the first and this one are the same probably. But this one was the first one that actually had a legit new info, April 22nd.
Wasn't sure quite what to expect when I walked out, but I got to say to the Delphi community, how grateful I am. You inspire people that you don't even understand, and you don't.
I think he was like pissed because people are still rumbling away in there. Look. See, if people are still chattering away, I'd be pissed too.
Wasn't sure quite what to expect when I walked out, but I got to say to the Delphi community.
People are still chatting, you hear that? A bunch of losers. Jeez. And he's like, hello.
I got to say to the Delphi community how grateful I am. You inspire people that you don't even understand, and you don't even understand why. Information is being released today is the result of literally thousands and thousands of hours of extraordinary investigative efforts by Delphi, Carroll County, the FBI, the Indiana State Police, and countless other agencies. This community surrounded us some 26 months ago. And you did everything you could to support us, but most importantly, you surrounded the family of these two little girls. Gosh, I'll never forget it. After you hear what we're going to release today, I'm going to ask for your continued support, your continued understanding, your empathy and compassion as we move forward to find out who did this, and we will. We're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city.
And that's Richard Allen, you guys.
Of Delphi, that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300.
See, that's one of the questions they had. Who was the driver that was parked at the abandoned CPS building?
North, next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway, between the hours of noon to 5 on February 14th, 2017. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City building. We are releasing additional portions of the audio recording from that day. Please keep in mind, the person talking is one person and is the person on the bridge with the girls.
Yeah, you see how many times... Listen, he said this in 2019. Keep in mind, there's only one person talking, and it is the person that is in the video with the girls, basically. You see what I'm saying? But everyone keeps saying, how do we know there isn't two different voices? And what about, it's just, they've already told us this. They've analyzed this. It's one voice. There isn't two voices. And the voice you're hearing is the person in the video, not somebody else off to the side, okay? Jesus.
This is not two different people speaking.
That's because you believe law enforcement, Gray.
Please listen to it very, very carefully.
Bah humbug!
We are also releasing video recovered from Libby's phone. This video has never before been previously released. The video shows a suspect walking on the bridge. When you see the video, watch the person's mannerisms as they walk. Watch the mannerisms as he walks. Do you recognize the mannerisms as being someone that you might know? Remember, he is walking on the former railroad bridge. Because of the deteriorated condition of the bridge, the suspect is not walking naturally due to the spacing between the ties. During the course of this investigation, we have concluded the first sketch released will become secondary as of today. The result of the new...
I think that's one of the things they regret the most, is sort of switching sketches over to this younger looking person because of Betsy Blair, who inaccurately said, oh yeah, it was 50 feet away and all that. Well, she was 111 feet away, and I think she just, like every witness that's out there, they just remembered something and they filled in the blanks, like, oh, he had a brown hat on, so now it's brown poofy hair, etc., etc. She didn't know she was supposed to remember something that day.
New information and intelligence over time leads us to believe the sketch, which you will see shortly, is the person responsible for the murders of these two little girls. We also believe this person is from Delphi. Currently, or as...
Wow, look at that. We think he's from Delphi currently?
Previously lived here.
So they know he's from there. That's what he even said that in the interview with Kelsey a long time ago.
Visits Delphi on a regular basis or works here.
Wow. Works here and lives there. He got both of those.
We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 and 40.
That was off, but their original age range was correct.
But might appear younger than his true age. Directly.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be talking about me, right, Karen? Jesus.
to the killer who may be in this room.
Yeah, it's pretty weird listening.
We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
He was working right there at the CVS pharmacy.
For more than 2 years.
No, they just think that how he negotiated around going down the end of the bridge, down below, and making his way across the creek, that they think he had to have been there before, not how quickly he went across the bridge. That might be part of it, but I mean, it's just, remember even Kelsey said, wow, the guy had to have known this place to go down there and then go across that shallow area, etc.
You never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We likely have interviewed you.
How amazing is that? I mean, this thing just nailed it. This interview here was like, we have likely interviewed you. Well, yes, you have. You interviewed him with, Dan Doolin interviewed him. It just never made it to you.
Or someone close to you. We know that this is about power to you. And you want to know what we know.
All right, you guys, if we get 23 more, I'll donate 5 memberships again. So we gave $500 out earlier this evening to Tunnels to Towers. If we get 23 more in, I'll donate 5 memberships. All right.
And one day, you will. A question to you. What will those closest to you think of when they find out that you brutally murdered 2 little girls? 2 children. Only a coward would do such a thing. We are confident that you have told someone what you have done. Or at the very least, they know, because of how different you are since the murders.
I think I'm going to put this out as a video. Just this whole segment here. Without me talking.
We try so hard to understand how a person could do something like this to two children. I recently watched a movie called The Shack. And there's also a book that talks so well about evil, about death, and about eternity. To the murder.
Merry Christmas, Cindy.
I believe you have just a little bit of a conscience left. And I can assure you that how you left them in that woods is not what they're experiencing today. Give me just a second here. Seldom do I have prepared remarks, but today is different because I do not want there to be any confusion or ambiguity with what I will say. Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. First, I'd like to speak directly to Anna, Mike, Becky, Kelsey, your extended families.
Well, this is the one after the arrest, Cindy. I think the best one's the 2019. That's the one for all of us have been following the case the whole time. That was probably the best one. I mean, it's best news in these ones, but they're not the most informative. We are snow remover. Oh, that's snow remover. Thank you. We're still too short.
Along with the entire Delphi community that certainly has grown and now includes our nation and even many countries around the world. I am proud.
Yeah, 2019 is easily the more recognized, most memorable to me. But I'm going to put this out, all 5 of these in a row, just as there is without. Maybe I'll put pictures on the screen or something. But
proud to report to you that today, actually last Friday, was the day.
The 28th.
And an arrest has been made.
Saturday,
thanks to literally hundreds of media outlets that have been steadfast in reporting and keeping the memories of Abby and Libby front and center. Many of you in the room have developed relationships with me personally.
Thank you, Snow Remover. And
you know, I always have a personal perspective, and today's no different.
Thanks, Snow Remover, Jessica Schubach, and Cindy. We're 2 away.
But from a very personal perspective, you all have provided inspiration and support, even while oftentimes frustrated with us and me. You continue to encourage the efforts, and you too believe that one day we would all be here participating and sharing this news. To the entire law enforcement community, which includes all local, state, and federal agencies, which are far too many to specifically mention today, thank you. We are going to continue a very methodical and committed approach to ensure that if any other person had any involvement in these murders in any way, that person or persons will be held accountable. Since the murders of Abby and Libby 2,086 days ago, the daily investigative team has worked tirelessly and is certainly worthy of mention today. Specifically, Sheriff Linsonby, Sheriff of Carroll County, Detectives Tony.
When I was gone, I did 5 compilation videos. I think there was like 5 or so days of all of my different, every video that I ever made in order.
Liggett, Detective retired Kevin Hammond, former Delphi chief and now the prosecutor's investigator Steve Mullins, State Police First Sergeant Jerry Holman, Detectives Jay Harper, Dave Vito, and Brian Harshman, along with members of the United States Marshal Service, specifically Agent Jeremy Clinton and Agent Bill Colfers. With them today is Dan McClain, the U.S. Marshal, appointed U.S. Marshal. Our state police analyst, our scientist from many different disciplines within our laboratory division, Mrs. Kathy Shank, for your incredible dedication to detail,
they mentioned her right
and
there.
to so many others that I know I've missed.
See, at this time, we didn't know that Kathy Shank, even though he mentioned her name, none of us knew her role at that moment.
I really believe
that's interesting
that Abby and Libby would be proud of you for standing strong, even in the face of immense pressure and perpetual criticism. Some of these individuals have postponed retirement, passed on promotional opportunity, have dedicated personal time away from their families, given up nights, weekends, and holidays, all while in the pursuit of accountability for Abby and Libby. I know that today's announcement will not diminish your resolve, and I hope you have found just a bit of peace in this most complicated world. This is really important. While I know you are all expecting final details today concerning this arrest, today is not that day. Today is not that day. This investigation is far from complete, and we will not jeopardize its integrity by releasing or discussing documents or information before the appropriate time. Prosecutor Nick McClellan, of course, will share additional information about what we can and cannot say, and also explain to you why the probable cause affidavit is temporarily sealed by the court and not available. And by the way, he has been a tremendous, tremendous asset to this team. I'm yet again asking you for your patience and please your understanding while our system of due process works. Also remember that all persons arrested are presumed innocent. All persons arrested are presumed innocent. You all will have an innate desire to subjectively interpret and then report what you think. We in the law enforcement realm cannot, and you should never allow us to, talk about what we think concerning facts, but rather discuss and share at the right time what it is we know. The time will come when additional details can be released. But again, today is not that day. It's about Abby and Libby, their families, and this community, this nation, and even our planet. The prosecutor has been very clear with law enforcement about what his expectations are, about what can and cannot be released, shared, or discussed. So we will, of course, comply. If you choose to be critical of our silence, be critical of me, not the front line. These are the folks that have committed their entire lives to a successful conclusion. In other words, a guilty verdict. As we move to the next phase of this investigation, I will continue to offer all resources that the ISP has to not only the investigative team that I anticipate growing, but also to Prosecutor McClellan as we prepare for the coming months. Again, Nick has been very resolute and very clear.
Here's the Trailblazer logo from that's the old school one there. The new one looks like that. So it's like almost reverse, kind of. Or the colors, yeah, it's... Well, it's more of at an angle, and... you know, the colors are reversed on the different side. So there you go.
And I'm most grateful for his leadership. And it's going to be really important as we move forward. Please continue offering tips.
Although the color is the same as the old school one, where it's dark. No, it's the new one. It's the new one. Never mind.
That you would like to share. The many avenues to report will remain open and will be available to all. Please continue doing that. In closing, I stand before you in this church and very place where we held our first briefing nearly 6 years ago, and just hours after the murders of Abby and Libby.
Yeah, so the color being red on the right and black on the left is the old school coloring, but the angle of the logo's the now.
Right here. Pulling in today, I wasn't really sure what emotion I would experience. But peace came over me. And I didn't expect that to happen. And I hope all of you, with all the different responsibilities you have from around the planet today, have felt some of that as well. But remember, we're not done. I think what we all have experienced proves that together there's nothing we cannot do. But more importantly, giving of ourselves, all of us, giving of ourselves matters more than what we could ever receive. Abby and Libby, though in death, have had a profound effect on so many of us, on how we live, and as importantly, who we all should be. I had prepared remarks today, but
maybe.
I decided walking in here that I wasn't going to read them. John Perrine reminded me that 2,866 days ago, this entire thing began. I didn't know what I would think, and I didn't realize today we were going to be walking into the same room where many of you were, I believe in, again, from memory, April of 2019 or that time frame. Yep. And over the course of these last many years
April
now,
22nd.
several of us, me included, have been mocked and ostracized for our emotion, for our inability to answer questions that you might ask, and the thought that we're something other than human beings. I'm not going to apologize for that. I often say I wish people could see what goes on behind the scenes, and not just with people dressed like me, but citizens of this county and of this city.
He basically quit dyeing his hair and it turned white, so he looks older. Here, watch. There it's kind of still brown like that. Same. Even 2022, and then he retired, and he didn't want to sort of color it anymore. So then it's like that. Okay, but his face and everything's the same. And it's the lighting makes a difference.
I wish you all could have been in the courtroom today and heard the victim impact statements. I'll always remember them. And I hope you'll get the transcripts and read what was said and try and understand the context of those words, even though you weren't in the courtroom. Over the course of these last many years, there have been many investigative strategies. Any notion of a cover-up, any notion of us deciding the outcome of this, any notion of any connection to anything else is not correct. It's not correct. I've never been a detective in my entire lifetime, but I get to represent some of the best on the planet Earth. And I listened to them intently. And when they made strategy decisions associated with what the next steps would be, my job was to support them, and I stand by those decisions, every single one of them. The gag order. We lived by that. We lived by that gag order. The defense did not.
Exactly.
And it cost a human life. Anybody that shares those photographs of those two little girls should be held accountable. Whether they're in the public sphere,
not sure what this little
whether they're emailed to you, whether you found them in a place you didn't want them to see. I hope that if you ever see them, you'll picture your own children as Abby and Libby. I'll never forgive that. I will never, ever forgive that. We lived by the gag order. Documents were released from the defense that drove a public narrative that many of you talked about. And damn it, I wish I could have responded. But I was not going to violate what John.
Oops. Okay. I got to open this back up. I'm not sure what that error was there, but hold on. Got to open that back up again. I could see that there's some kind of error. I think I was using the more recent version. I don't know, hold on. Should open it back up.
Not correct. It's not correct. Jeez. Any notion of a cover-up, any notion of us deciding the outcome of this, any notion of any connection to anything else is not correct. It's not correct.
And I totally believe him, you know, because the evidence shows that.
I've never been a detective in my entire lifetime, but I get to represent some of the best on the planet Earth. And I listened to them intently. And when they made strategy decisions associated with what the next steps would be, my job was to support them, and I stand by those decisions, every single one of them. The gag order. We lived by that. We lived by that gag order. The defense did not. And it cost a human life. Anybody that shares those photographs of those two little girls.
I don't know. Did you guys see My Father's Alibi? I didn't see that. Was it just now, or I didn't see one? My Father's Alibi. I don't see it. Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Should be held accountable. Whether they're in the public sphere, whether they're emailed to you, whether you found them in a place you didn't want them to see. I hope that if you ever see them, you'll picture your own children as Abby and Libby. I'll never forgive that. I will never, ever forgive that. We lived by the gag order. Documents were released from the defense that drove a public narrative that many of you talked about. And damn it, I wish I could have responded. But I was not going to violate what Judge Gall said. So they were able to get these documents out there and create a public narrative that you and many others, many of you.
Yeah, I don't know who she's talking to. Who are you talking to, My Father's Alibi? Are you talking to me? I see a super sticker just now, but... Oh, somebody named It's Just Me. Okay.
And many others believed around the globe. Baldwin and Rossi are responsible for that, not this team.
Well,
the family effects, I think you'll see the words that were spoken by the folks that spoke today about their lives and how they've been forever changed, how they'll never be the same. And they said it in ways that were beautiful in some kind of a mysterious way. There's an attorney in Indianapolis by the name of Guy Relford. And I heard Guy on the radio after the verdict when a lot of hate mail came, death threats came.
Uh-huh. Oh, line sitting. Oh, okay.
And I heard Guy Relford say that day on the radio, and I called him 15 minutes after he said it.
How do you send a line sticker, a super sticker to somebody who's line sitting? They'd have to have a YouTube channel at the same time.
And after 40 years in this business, I never thought about the jury's perspective. But he said the only people that mattered in that courtroom was the jury. And he went on to talk about, he's a very bright attorney, he went on to talk about what they can see that we can't, that you couldn't. They could see the defense.
But the line sitters are pretty cool to keep a spot. I would never be line sitting. I'd be just trying to get in myself. But if I could get a line sitter to sit for me so I could get in, that'd be pretty cool.
They could see the state. They could see the witnesses, feel the emotion, and they could see Richard Allen. I've never thought about that perspective because we have a singular view most times. You, me, it's human nature. Judge Gall was the keeper of the peace in that courtroom, but the people that mattered were those 12 jurors. And we have a system of justice that allows them to decide the fate of a human being. That's what our founders had established. And that's what they did. I hope you all understand that what you say and how you report matters more than you can ever possibly comprehend. This is an opportunity for us to all learn about what social media is and isn't.
What the heck? My father's alibi? Jeez. Well, thank you. That was very kind of you. Wait, God, can I get that turned on just in time for that? There it is. Oh, yes. I caught the end of it. Oh, that was it though. Darn it. Well, thank you anyways. Appreciate that. I'm going to put this out. Yeah, well, I'm going to put out the 5, these in a row. I won't speak over them. I'll just place like, while listening to it, I'll put images on the screen that kind of represent what he's talking about at the time.
What we should do and what we shouldn't. And understand that their words have consequences to other human beings. I appreciated Guy's perspective, and it changed my view of the criminal proceeding.
Any new news on what?
Richard Allen knew.
What are you talking about?
We live in a country where people can hate. People can say things about other people. And that's okay. Hate me. It's okay. It's one of the only countries in the world where you can.
Did you message me on Facebook? It's just me. I can't remember if it was you or there's somebody else.
The investigative collaboration is something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, my father's alibi case. Right. I was just totally confused for a minute there. I just was messaging her earlier. Yeah, well, I was going to work on a video, but she said that they were looking into it again. So I was thinking, okay, they have already got whatever they need. But if you ever get to the point of where they're not doing anything, we should make that video again. Because you just told me the other day, right when we were about to start doing that they seemed interested, and we're going to look into it again, right? Oh, I thought you said that he told you just recently that remember when we talked not too long ago? It sort of seemed like we were about to do something, and then we quit doing that because of what you said. You said that they looked at it again and were like, okay, let's do something. Or the detectives were going to let the DA have a look at it again because they feel like it's really strong, right? Is that it? Yeah, I don't junk box. I don't split my super chats with my mods. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the mods and them being here and helping support what we do here. But this is kind of like, I almost all the mods. I would say every mod that I have, it's over time I respect them as people, and they were friends, and they're helping out the channel do what it does, and I want them to be mods because I respect them as people. So that's what we do here. Okay. it's not like a job. It's, I mean, if I think if you're a mod and you feel like, God, this is a job, man, it feels like, then it's not really. I want the mods when they're watching just to be watching like everybody else, and then when the trolls show up, you just kind of hit the button and, you know, you're just kind of talking and engaging because you want to be here. That's how I look at it, right? But I know we get the trolls that show up in here because of the question that Cindy asked the other day, and then it created a whole thing exactly how I predicted it would.
For the rest of my life. There's no way we could possibly chronicle it or articulate it or write about it or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I make an income on here, and then I give away a lot of the money. If I was going to pay them, we wouldn't be giving away any of the money that we give away, because it would go to them being paid. I mean, I've been mods on channels that I never once thought, boy, I always think of it, hey, wow, they trust me enough to make me a mod, and I appreciate that. I never think, oh man, they better start paying me. You know, that's weird.
There's no way we could ever do that. We are human beings, and there were mistakes made. But there was never a mistake made that we knew was wrong when we did it. I'll crawl across shards of hot glass for Jerry Holman. Jerry Holman is not a liar.
Oh. He's been unresponsive. Okay.
Jerry Holman gave
We'll
the last 8 years of his life to something much greater than himself.
Yeah, I do get a tax write-off. You know how it works though? Junk box, square pants. You sound like a complete moron. Everybody knows that. Yes, of course I do. How stupid would it be? Wouldn't you guys think I was a moron if I didn't get a tax write-off for the charities? It just is another, helps a little bit at the end. But what it is, so let's say you have $50,000 of charity you donated. You might save $16,000. Like if you had actually made that income, you can save about like $16,000 less taxes. I always break even, because the taxes that I pay for, forget it, man. You know what I hate doing is explaining it to people like you. You're just dumb people. Yeah, it does, dumb. We know junk box, square pants. Everybody knows. It doesn't go back to anybody, though. It's just, if you make $150,000 and you paid $50,000 in charities, then I think it comes off of your income. Now your income was $100,000. So it just means you paid less taxes. So what? We're still giving away. I still made like $30,000 less than I could have made had I not given any money away. Okay, dumb shit? And if you make one more comment like that, well, you're out of here anyways. Just get rid of that. Classic grifting.
We fussed with each other.
Hey, everybody, it's classic grifting, everybody. Here comes the trolls. Here they come, the trolls showing up every single night. Now, grifting is when you trick somebody into something. No, there isn't a soul on this channel that doesn't know what the hell we're doing over here, okay? On a nightly basis, I try to bring in funds that help support my channel, allows me to do the shows, and then I also give away a ton of money out of the income from my channel, okay? So why don't you go stick your square head in a toilet and flush it? All right. What an idiot.
Throughout the course.
And by the way, you've been blocked from the channel, so from your perspective, it'll seem like you're typing in these really clever responses, but nobody can see them, all right?
This in conclusion. We argued with each other. I remember Tobe and I had an argument right here in this other room in April of 19, as you should expect us to. There was no groupthink. We debated each other, as you should expect us to. But then the defense spins that into incompetence. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous nonsense for Baldwin and Rozzi to have done that. And finally, most importantly, to the Delphi community and to the family of Abby and Libby, Words cannot possibly explain what we all feel. But what Nick McClellan did and the rest of the team that was associated with this, every single time it was about something other than themselves. It was about this community and that family. And we owe them a debt of gratitude that can never possibly be repaid. How about we start to heal now? How about we hit that reset button and understand that justice in this country was served, and if you don't like justice in this country, go do another one. Let's heal. Tone down the rhetoric. Stop all the politics and all the nonsense and all the conspiracy theories, and understand that we all tried the best we could. That should be the message to us and to our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And to this most amazing place we call the United States of America. Well done.
Joining me.
No, it's pretty sweet though, right? Like those 5 together. I think I'm going to put those out. Those are those 5. I think those are the only 5 times he was in a press conference. February 22nd, 2017. February 13th, 2018. April 22nd, 2019. Then October 31st, 2022 after the arrest. And then after the sentencing, December 20th, 2024. Pretty sweet, huh? All right. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, the difference is on this channel, I actually give a tremendous amount of money back, where every other true crime YouTube channel, it's just nothing, man. Like, if they give a Nick $100 once a year, that, I mean, but nobody cares. It's on this channel, when if we don't give every nickel, then it's bad. It's so stupid. You know, like, you know those people that go out there and they say, hey, we're selling widgets, and for every widget we sell, we're going to give 10 cents to a charity. You know, they're probably hoping, you know, maybe people think, oh shit, at least they're giving back. This channel, if you were going to do it the same way, we give, like, for every dollar brought in, I would say like 25 to 30 cents goes out. You know, but I'm not raising it like I'm a charity bringing in money. I'm just a channel who decides to give away a lot of it, and you guys know that I'll do that, and hopefully that you guys want to support the channel more because we do that. But I don't make anywhere near as much as a lot of these other bigger, you know, YouTube channels, even smaller ones that are doing conspiracy theories. It looks like a slot machine over there. Those people are absolutely raking in revenue, and I don't here. I mean, sometimes I get good ad revenue during big cases, but the last 3 or 4 days have just been abysmal in here. Today was pretty decent, you know, like, hey, you know, but we also, I'm negative money because I gave $500 away. So it's just, whatever, it doesn't matter what I do. There's a group of trolls that spend every waking hour looking for something. If I say something a certain way or something like this, they make a video and they try to, like, disparage me. And they don't even take Christmas off, if you can believe that. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I know, it never does. Yeah. That's all those people ever do, is put out video after video after video. And they sort of, have a 3-hour show, and they take, like, the 3 minutes of shit out of it and go, look at Gray over here, you know. Yeah, that never makes it out there. The people that we, and guess what? I'm the only bad actor. It's called targeting, and YouTube is aware of it. So we'll see what happens down the road. These people are absolutely, that's all they do. Hey, YouTube bad act. You know, well, I'm the only one, really? Out of all the people on YouTube, I'm it, man. Almost $250,000 we've given, and that's just not enough for those whack jobs. Because I made one of them mad one time. Ooh. Jeez, what a bunch of losers. They're all tied together like worms in a clump of dirt. Yeah, well, they are. It's like they're all connected to the same group. You know, it's like a... I had like this X-Mod. There's a YouTuber out there. These various people that kind of all clamored together to make something like that. Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Surprised you're even aware of that channel, though. It's just me. Maybe everybody is by now. It's just amazing, you know. Let's see. You can put his email. But thanks for advertising in there for them. I don't know. I don't have any much more to do here, you guys. So if you guys are want to get back to whatever you're doing before, awesome. I received my, Oh yeah, you got those boxes in boxes, right? I just saw a picture of those. So what's going on there? I mean, is it all even more stuff pointing at, I mean, how do you go through that many boxes? It's like, it's ridiculous how many boxes there are. Well, hey, thanks trolls out there for ruining the vibe and screwing over Christmas. You know, it'd be nice to have one nice Christmas. But it's just not happening. Merry Christmas to your cat. Well, you should scan them all in so I can look at it. Like, get your scanner out and start scanning in the boxes. I think that would be interesting to do. Because I usually see stuff differently than other people. So somebody might see something some way and I go, oh, well, it means something different to me. What are you talking about, Cindy? We're not doing it tonight. I got to get out of here. Well, they just always make me just, you know, I don't know what it is. I'd like to have, you know, it doesn't matter how I am. They're just always the same. They find some way to twist or turn something I say into something. Ah, jeez. Here we go, Cindy. You always create things. See, here we go. Now we're going. Ah, boy. It's just... Thanks, Sandy Shirley. No, I just don't leave Cindy out of the deal. My father's alibi. Don't, you know, she's not part of like trying to figure out what's going on, okay? So just if, when you get it all scanned in, if you could, you know, I don't know if you want to do a box at a time, but you could scan it in and then I could look at it. And then maybe we can go over it. Alright, she doesn't have anything to do with it. You'll just be, you know, spinning wheels sending it over. Right. Yeah, but I'd like to look through the stuff to find stuff in there on my own, if you can do that. Okay? Have you gone through all 5 of the boxes already? And when you do so, maybe you could scan in the pages also and put them in a PDF file. Then I can look at it, then go over it. Because I don't like sitting there and then having somebody go, hey, look it, here's what I found. And it's like, well, man, there was 5 boxes. That's all you got? You know, so I'd want to see it myself. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I like to look at the information on my own, too. Like, just look at it and put it together and then go, oh, look at this, and then you collaborate. Then each side knows it, instead of just somebody else telling you what something says. That's how I do it anyways. I like doing it better that way. But if you have some like key documents on the way, that'd be cool if you could send those. You sent me something the other day, but I think that was before you got your 5 boxes. Yeah, soak it in, you know. Yeah, but see, I think we should make a video or something after we look at all of that information. Because now it sounds like there's new information, and you know, it was already pretty nutty the way it was before. I think I'd have to go back through that again, because I think I've forgotten some of the elements. Let's see. That's right, let's see if I can remember. You were at your dad's house, and your mom was called by your dad like earlier to say, hey, then you were supposed to be picked up, to come pick you up, and was wearing specific clothing. And then you were sent over to your like your uncle's house, and there was something. Your uncle, what was the thing about your dad? What was the name that you called your uncle? And why was that something? I can't remember why that was weird. Because you called your dad by his first name, but your uncle's name was the same, right? But why would that? Right. Yeah, I know all that part about the Buick found in the garage. I didn't get to any of that yet. Oh, so is that your mom's uncle then? I mean, because wouldn't your uncle be the brother of your dad? So it must be your mom's brother or something. Yeah, so anyways, you were stayed over at somewhere else, and then your mom drove over there, and people actually saw the car out in the driveway, and then eventually got put into the other house garage, and it was found in there. And also the clothing that your mother apparently was wearing was found in the apartment, and your mother was gone, but this is after they had already found her body tied down and weighed down, and I guess wrapped in something like the blankets were your mom's blankets that were in her car or something like that. Yeah, that is an interesting one. Your dad, so your great uncle. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember him right then, but I think there was other stuff, you know. Anyways, yeah, so let's just, we got to get the timeline all just kind of written down in a nice little format, and then start filling it in with some of these details. That's right, because there was the other one about, your mom's diary, or some sort of a thing that she was writing, and that talked about various elements that were related. Can't remember exactly each one of them, but yeah, there was a diary. Yeah, we should do that again pretty soon. But yeah. Well, at least, Cindy, you got us talking about it again. Yeah, it was interesting. But you just, I don't know. Just let me do the... yeah, I think outside of a box filled with facts. That's how it works. And a lot of times your theories are pretty good when you do it that way. Case is close to getting justice, if I remember right. Just needs a... Well, I don't know when it's close when somebody's like a DA is like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I mean, it seems like it has the evidence already there, though. Let's see. Yeah, so if you have like really key documents, you can send those over, but I'd kind of like to, I mean, is it really just thick of paper? If you scanned it all in, how long would that take? Can you take it somewhere and have them scan it in? Yeah, I think he just did like a loop. I think that's how I had it. Oh yeah, right, the crazy DA. How could I forget that? Right. Let's see, I hope they have photos of her car and the clothes. Yeah. Yeah, the clothes that were left at the house, to me, is like one of the biggest, if that's something they can absolutely prove with witnesses that say, yeah, she was wearing that clothing, then, I mean, it's just a done deal at that point. Because how in the hell would her clothing be in his house? And then she's found nude, and it's not related to him. I mean, this just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, common sense, you know? Yeah, I guess I'll have to go start brushing back up on that one again. Because by the time that one show was over that we were doing, it seemed like I had it all, you know, I have it still kind of in my memory, but just not as dialed in as it was. So it'd be cool if there was just like these set of hard-hitting, you know, 20 bullet points that you just like, oh yeah, and then it kind of has your recollection remember a lot of different things just by those. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for me tonight, you guys. If you missed it earlier, we gave $500 to the Tunnels to Towers. And yeah. And we went over the craziness that was on Court TV with this PI lady that just seems absolutely unhinged to me. And then we played all of Doug Carter's 5 press conferences, only his portions that he spoke. And thank you to Timothy Cecil, Lisa Holland, Allie Cake, Georgina Stoliker, Herbert Landscaping, Regina Carter, WNC Granny, Chicken Wing. But how long, what would it take to, yeah, it is overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah, of course you wouldn't want to believe he did it. But how long would it take to, like, if you scan that stuff in? What if you brought it somewhere and they, like, you know, FedEx or whatever, and they scan it in? They usually have those little scanner. Maybe they can do it. A Christmas photo of my mom to show? If you want it. Yeah, but what if you brought it somewhere where they can just scan it in really quick for you? Yeah, so thanks to Timothy Cecil, Lisa Holland, Allie Cake, Georgina Stoliker, Herbert Landscaping of Herbert Landscaping for all your landscaping needs in upstate New York. Regina Carter, WNC Granny, Chicken Wing, Karen, Kathy Friedenmaker, Tina Attorney, Karen, Allie Cake, Timothy Cecil, Tina Attorney. Great, thanks for all you do and love your wry humor. Merry Christmas. Well, you too. Allie Cake, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Paisley Dreams. Karen said next year we'll go up to 8 because it'll be 8 years watch. Oh, thank you. And then Karen. Cheryl Bullock. Elisa Stedman, Merry Christmas. Your sound effects and imitations are the best. Well, thanks. Merry Christmas. Allie Cake, Kami, Karen, Toxic Tink, WNC Granny, Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, Allie Cake, Karen, Georgina Stoliker, Toxic Tink, Tim Bray, Karen, Brandon Collins, Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Nikki Zubs, Timothy Cecil, gifted a membership. Then Cindy J, Merry Christmas. Jessica Shoebox, No Remover, Ria Mazaron. Then I gifted 5 memberships. And we had My Father's Alibi. And she also did a double cat eye donation. And then Justice for Crystal McCrory Jones. Please look into Crystal McCrory Jones. Well, send me a link. How come I don't see that over here? Oh, that was a while ago. Okay. Yeah, well, send me an email with that. Did you guys already tell her to do that? Let's see the Christmas. That's your mom right there? Well, hold on. Let me get rid of that. Hold on a second. Is that a full scan there? Here, I'm going to try to make it look better. Hold on a second. I actually learned this also at the Art Institute. Let's see. I think it's already better. You know, you can actually go in there and do this. What is this thing? Oops. That's not very good. What's the other one? Spot healing patch. Is it that one? I wonder what that does. I don't even know what this does. Just checking out that. Yeah. Yeah, I used to do this thing where it was like, I think it was this clone stamp. Whenever I'd fix these, they'd come in like, go like that, and then you can watch this. You go right there, right? And you go right here. Now watch this. I can drag down. And so it's like you can take right there and here. See, I was almost gone doing that, but you have to kind of come in and do these little. So you just grab a little something extra over there, and it kind of gets rid of the lines. I don't know. You know, can't see that line much anymore there, though. I know, it's pretty good right there, right? We actually did this thing where you had to try to colorize them. We had to try to do that. Look at that. Thanks, Employee of the Month. Poor little dog, probably died a long time ago. And it's kind of a little bit of a blurry picture of her. But there you go. What do you think? I mean, you can spend hours doing this. Merry Christmas, Crime Cricket. Healing brush tool. What does this one do? That doesn't seem like it really does much good. That's pretty good on that one. Thanks, Crime Cricket. It takes you hours. You can sit there for hours. Sometimes it's fun though. You're just like listening to music and just kind of like we're doing just now, you know. How big is this? That's 100%. That's probably pretty tough to fix that over there. Let's see what that tool does. If I just went like this, what happens? Wow. Look at that. Yeah, jeez, it actually did something with that. That's crazy. Let me go back. Alright, let's make this bigger and just... Wow, that's nuts. I like that how I had it a minute ago. That was better. Looks pretty good. You wouldn't even notice there was something there. My father's alibi must have taken off. You want to have this? I like that. That looks pretty good. So the full size is about like that. Yeah, I'll just spend a couple more minutes doing make all these other ones better. Yeah, I might come in and just try to do some of these little... I used to do this like photo restoration for this video. I used to have my own little videography company. I don't know. It's kind of like your garden. You could spend all day just never really quite done. But hey, it's way better than before, right? Look at all that. There you go. There you go. Alright, well, I'll send that over to you. You know, at least it's a little clearer, you can look at it. So, anyways, yeah, I guess I was already taken out, but I spent some time doing that, so thanks, Crime Cricket, and Employee of the Month. Alright, appreciate you guys' support. It's already Christmas and on the East Coast, so Merry Christmas over there, and Merry Christmas Eve for people still over here on the West Coast. And yeah, but if you can send me some more documents that you find, that'd be cool. But I really appreciate everybody being here, and sorry for the trolls earlier, kind of put me in a shitty mood, but hey, that's what they try to do. You know, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know, it's crazy. What I can say is this: is without your guys' support on here, I wouldn't be able to donate money at the end of each month. You know, like if I brought in only like $5,000 or $6,000 or something like that through all the different things, you know, and then there's taxes, I wouldn't be able to do anything. You know, I wouldn't be able to send any donations in at all, because you have to, you know, you gotta make a living and make an income doing what you're doing. I mean, I think my channel donates more money than some of the big networks give to charities. Okay, okay, let's just put it that way. So it just is what it is. You can look at it however you want to look at it, but I sleep really well at night. I never feel bad or anything. Because I feel like I'm extremely honest with everybody. Everybody here knows exactly. I say, hey, you know, if you can't afford it, don't do it. But you know, if you support my channel, I also give away a lot of the money. I say it every single show. I try to actually make a difference out there. I don't know how else to make a difference, a true difference, other than I do shows and I think through things the way and I actually think I help victims of crimes. Like I literally, you know, do videos and shows and I talk with them. I mean, look at Erica Pillsbury and Mercedes Vega. Nobody was covering that one at all, and we started covering it, and then things started happening. I did the same thing in a couple other cases out there. You know, well, not just a couple. There's been like dozens of cases where we've made a difference just covering it. But the tangible thing is the stuff we do with the income. $226,000 since January of 2020. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like if you can, but nobody cares. You know, the trolls don't give a shit at all. We do, Gray. It's just the way you go. No, what do you mean the way? I say exactly what I'm doing here. Nobody's confused. I'm not a charity intake company. I'm a YouTube channel that gives away a lot of the money that gets that I make even my ad revenue and super chats, etc., etc., etc. I just feel like that's the right thing to do. But apparently you have to give every dollar or you're not doing it correctly. So, anyways, I appreciate the people out there that get it and understand what the hell I'm talking about and what I do here. For the people who don't, go F yourselves. Merry Christmas, though, okay? I'm just so sick of it. And, you know, really, really sick of it. So, anyways, that is going to... and Merry Christmas! Bah humbug to the trolls, you stupid piles of crap. Alright. Let's see. No, it's incredible. The hell these people have put me through. I don't even know them, and they put me through hell. It's just all the time, you know. It's never ending. It's relentless. You know? Like if somebody took their own life because of their treatment, they wouldn't blame themselves. You know what I mean? They would think that they were justified because they're sick. They're like Luigi Mangione nut jobs. You know? Merry Christmas! Anyway, didn't you like my outfit though? You know, it's a little Christmassy in here for sure. But anyways, thanks everybody for being here tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm sure we can find some Christmassy... something Christmassy to talk about. Who the hell knows? Alright? Alright, thanks everybody. See you tomorrow. Good night, Georgina Stoliker. Yes, it's the gray derangement syndrome. You could actually call it that. 100%. These people are... It doesn't matter what I do, man. It doesn't matter what I do. They never mention... when we've solved DNA cases by financing it, they never talk about it. Because it's not... doesn't fit their narrative. They're the scum of the earth, these people. And by the way, when we've done this thing, where we solve cases, where we're funding the solving of DNA cases... We aren't mentioned by a soul other than a newspaper article out there. Not one person in the true crime world gives two shits that somebody on the same platform is really making a difference. Because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? Yeah. Merry Christmas! Oh, jeez. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Maybe I'll just play like this louder. What's the... Is there another song in here? Hold on, let me find a better one. Holiday. Is this one? Just louder? Alright, Merry Christmas, everybody. See you later. Wait, maybe we'll get the dogs playing. Nope, they're not there. Oh well, everybody. Oh well.